guys, welcome to Behind the Lens with Yolanda Hill Photography. Today we have Dave Trakz, DJ Dave Trakz, who is an amazing DJ here in West Palm Beach, and I'm so excited to have you here today, Dave.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me behind the lens.
Behind the lens. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how you got started in the DJ business and how, just tell us a little bit about how you got from point 1 to point 2.
The way I got started is more or less, everyone starts out as an audiophile completely. I was born in New Jersey. My parents are from Dominican Republic.
Nice.
So they used to send me to DR during
And
the
I've
summers.
told Dave, I'm like, you've got to be able to dance, right? Because you're Dominican.
Yes. Somewhat. I can defend myself.
Dominicans normally are amazing dancers.
Yo puedo bailar un poco.
Un
sí.
poquitico.
Sí, un poco.
All right, we'll have to work on this. But go ahead, continue with where you started.
And when they used to send me out there, it wasn't just listening, to merengue and bachata. It was actually people were listening to Bon Jovi, Aerosmith, and all those other things, like my aunt's neighbors. And I'm like, wait, I hear that when I go back home. So when I go back to Jersey, it was just, it's different because in New Jersey, in comparison to New York, we listen to everything. New York happens to listen to everything that's happening in that epicenter. And just being well versed, paying attention to certain things, like enjoying all the genres. I believe I told your story once about how I really got into
Yes, and we would love
DJ.
to hear this. And sorry, guys, I forgot to introduce my main man here, Kyle. This is all new to us, and it's, a little nerve-wracking, right, Dave? Just a little bit.
Just a little
so
bit.
as we're, learning how to do this whole podcast thing, so I do apologize. Kyle, we love you. Welcome.
Sorry, thanks.
But anyways, tell us that story.
So my dad had this huge pyramid mixer at home, and it did not work, and he, for the life of him, could never figure it out. 'Cause my dad wasn't really tech savvy. My dad's good with his hands. He's hardworking, but I just go ahead and just grab this mixer, and I look at his setup, and then I see everything says line, and I'm like, okay, this is a volume for each and every peripheral that I connect to this mixer. Go to the back of the mixer, why it's not turning on? I see a little thing that says fuse, and I saw something identical to it to the side, wasn't, and as technically savvy or inclined, I was like, this is broken. This one looks like it works. Plugged it in, and then I went ahead and took this whole Kenwood system apart.
Oh, the old Kenwoods, yeah.
Turntable had a line, tuner had a line, tape deck. It was just like, I took everything apart. My dad was just like, he wasn't upset. He was like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. And then understanding.
Isn't that crazy how you just know something, or you just
No, it was just curiosity just killed me.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it got to the point where I was listening to, I would go to the parties, right? We had the family parties when we were younger, and I would hear guys transitioning from record to record, playing playing Spanish music, which was merengue, transitioning from that to that. So I didn't have two turntables, but I did have a tape deck and one turntable. So I would bounce back and forth. So that's when I kind of it just grew on me. And then in my house, they were always loud, always listening to music.
Always loud. Spanish house, always loud.
Yeah, Dominican households can be very loud.
I get it.
Yeah.
Kyle, your house was loud?
No.
No, yeah, I didn't think so.
And what would happen is that I would go to the Dominican Republic for a set amount of days during the summer, and I would come back and I would speak no English.
Okay.
Being in a very Dominican household where everything was just Spanish, it was hard to turn the switch on and off.
Yeah, it is.
If you would go and tell me, hey, David, you would hand me a napkin. What's this called? Servilleta. I would not say napkin. It would take me a whole month. So it was one of those things where just being from New Jersey, being from the islands, and just mixing all that together. To go ahead and provide that quality and that the brides are looking for, to just really understand what is a dance floor read, to understand what song to play, how to mix, and just, you guys capture that quality all the time from many DJs. And it's just, I'm nervous. Can we have a tequila shot, Annie?
You know what? I should have brought a tequila shot. I'm so sorry. Yeah. You're good. But here, we're going to go into how long have you been doing this, DJing?
Professionally in South Florida for about 10, 12 years.
Okay.
I always had a little setup in the bedroom where it was, either a Gemini mixer, two Sony Discman. Like I would go ahead and transition. I remember when of course, we all remember Napster.
Napster.
I used to make my own mixtapes and connect, and what I did was took a RCA.
So you created your own mixtapes.
My own little mixtapes or whatever, but it was me. It was all personal to me. I wouldn't share it or anything with anyone. But everyone knew that I was pretty versatile when it came to music, that I was, that I actually knew what DJ equipment was.
Yeah.
But I would never go out to the masses and do it.
Gotcha.
So when...
you had a question, Kyle?
Yeah, I was gonna. So, what made you really growing up in that lifestyle? Say, I want to start really pushing towards weddings or parties, or maybe even events, because obviously in the Dominican there's a lot more cultures, like in the after a hard day's of work, everybody's in the street dancing, partying,
house parties.
Where
did you transition?
Yeah, where it made you said, hey, I really want to focus on
Weddings.
Parties and events and weddings.
It was I kind of let it go when I came to South Florida.
Okay.
Many have heard this story. My cousin had a baby shower, and of course I didn't have any equipment because it's kind of like I wasn't into it, but I still had all the music, was well versed. And a friend of mine, I was like, hey, my cousin's having a baby shower. If you want to go ahead and do it, he was like, bring your laptop, because I know you have Serato and I know you have all the music cataloged and organized. And I was the one that told said friend what equipment to purchase. At the time, it was a huge Newmark NS6 or NS7. The thing, it was two moving platters. Like it was a beast at the time. And it was like, hey, Dave, plug your laptop in. As I go ahead and plug my laptop in, they give me the headphones, and I just like submerged into the interface that I had in front of me. And as I'm going, I'm mixing, I'm doing my thing, and my cousin just taps me on the shoulder. Hey, pick your head up. My friend taps me on the shoulder. Hey, pick your head up. And then they both come to the sides of me and both literally pick my head up, and I have this whole dance floor packed.
Right.
That is one thing I can say about you. So, like, I work with a lot of DJs, obviously, and you work with a lot of photographers, so we see, different personalities, different ways people work and everything, and Dave always gets people going. Like, it doesn't matter what is going on. Like, last wedding we did, we were up, I was getting the girls, pictures taken up there, like, getting ready, and all of a sudden, this music just blares through this whole venue, and everybody just stops and starts dancing because I don't know, something that he knows what to play, when to play, how to play, and very loud, and I love all of that. So I'm like I cannot wait to get to the reception because I know it's gonna be good songs, and I know this party's gonna take off, and it always does. So
thank you.
Yeah,
it's just
amazing.
I don't force it.
Yeah.
My personality is I don't try to really force anything. I just try to be myself.
That's the
at
other
all
thing.
times.
Dave has an amazing personality. He's fun. He just knows how to work, I guess, everybody out there to get them going.
Yeah, it's just more like just reading the crowd, just paying attention.
Now, do you get, obviously, I think you do.
Yeah.
This is probably, but I want to know, you get lists from your brides, and how much do you follow that? Or do you, go off of that and then start, if it's not working, I could have given you a list. But what if my list isn't great because I know nothing about music? So do you veer off and then do your own thing to keep it going, even though they gave you a list? How do you work that?
Well, the list itself isn't, and I always tell couples is that your preferred. Not preferred. The songs you want played, that go-to list you want me to go ahead and stick. But it's not, to me, it's not Bible. Okay. It's not one of those things that I just stick to that list and that's it. I'll play songs, according to the moment, according to the feel, and then actually, let's say, for example, if X song.
And I kind of agree with that. And this in another way for me, for photography, kind of goes the same way. They'll give me a shot list or send me inspirational photos, and I appreciate it. I see them, but as a professional, I know what I see behind them or at that time or the lighting or how the moment's feeling, and I make my own choices and make them look the way that I think they should look at that time, which is how, I guess the same thing with music. They give you a list, but if it's not working and the scenario is not working, you switch it off and make your own decisions as to what to play.
Exactly. There's a perfect genre I can go ahead and tell you is country music.
Okay.
When you go ahead and play country music, or when you go ahead and play a slow song, you have to find a specific moment when it just dies down and everybody's at the bar, and that's for you to go ahead and pull them right back in.
Okay.
So ease them in. So they'll go ahead and give you a list of a bunch of bangers. And not all songs are appropriate for a set moment. Think about it when you're out and about and your favorite songs just hit the radio, this new song, and you just can't get enough of the song. The song will never hit the same way in the morning, in the afternoon, or at night.
Okay.
Each and that song will have a different effect all the time. And there's of course other songs that you go ahead and have to accompany them with something else because they just don't impact at the moment. So it's about a crowd read and just making sure and not acting like a diva at a wedding. Because there's a lot of vendors that, I'm not trying to mention any names or anything like that.
We're not mentioning
names. Mentioning nobody.
Nope, nobody.
But there's a lot of people that want to go ahead and take the wedding on for themselves, but don't understand that we're all there as a collective.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how do you deal with like just random guests coming up and asking for a request?
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot.
I take them all.
Yeah.
I take them all. There's some requests that just like, you just can't do it because they'll kill your whole vibe. I've gotten guests come up to me when Baby Shark was a thing, play Baby Shark, and I told a grown man,
Baby
hell
Shark,
no.
yeah.
So we were at a wedding and the DJ played Baby Shark.
Request by the bride, though, I
And the
think.
bride ended up tearing MCL, PCL, and ACL in her knee, and her wedding was over.
Kyle went from videographer straight into
EMT.
EMT moment. Yeah, because she was doing the Baby Shark. I don't even know the dance because I don't know
Yeah,
the ones, but
so that was it, and we're like, well, I guess we're done because
Yeah.
she was getting air casted and had to go to the hospital.
so Baby Shark might have not been a great
So
time.
she probably don't like Baby Shark for that one, but yeah, we were at that wedding.
Thanks,
Yeah, it's for sure interesting.
So I wanted to ask, what makes you stand out more? Like if I was getting married and I wanted a DJ, like how would I find you? What do you think that you would show me that you're more valuable than somebody else that I could look into?
well,
I know that's a tough one.
It is a
but-
very tough question because I have a lot of colleagues in the industry itself,
Yeah.
stemming from northern Florida all the way down to the Keys and then out west. That we all hold each other in esteem and high regard, and I would never say that I'm better than them or anything like that.
Yeah.
With me, of course, I would go ahead and say that you get me, you get my personality.
Yeah.
Very welcoming, very personable.
Yes, you are. I agree. So I second that.
And I just like try to offer quality, of course. And
He definitely has quality. I've also watched all his stuff and how thorough you are on setting up.
very.
As much as I work and I'm doing my thing and I'm concentrating on what I'm supposed to do, I watch my vendors. So I'm watching you people to see what they're like, doing and if they're doing things correctly or how thorough or on it you are or not. And Dave is always on it. He's very good, and we're going to get into some equipment stuff that he has as well that also makes him stand out. But yeah, I would think that would be a good way to like say that you do stand out in that way.
Yeah, just like what I did was, as we all evolve, we all grow. It's never an overnight process.
Yeah.
One of the most important things is to just find a niche. Every photographer, for example, right now we have Nikons in front of us. Some people like shooting with Nikon, some people like shooting with Canon, but it's all, and Sony. And the most important thing is to go ahead and find your unique approach in everything that you do to go ahead and stand out.
Yeah.
Of course, piling up the reviews is important.
Yes.
Transitioning into, one of the things that has helped me, not the fact that I'm responsible and all those other aspects that you would expect in a vendor or somebody to go ahead and, a colleague to work with.
Yeah.
But I'm opening myself up more to this camera thing.
Yes.
Recording myself.
Which is so hard.
Yeah, having people see you from a different
it is so
perspective.
hard, guys. Like we try really hard because I know people want to see our personalities and like the behind the scenes and all that stuff, and we love doing it, but it is very hard to do it and intimidating because like we're used to being in the behind the lens.
Yeah.
So, like I'm not normally in front of it, so it's a little intimidating, but little by little we get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the other day I sent Dave a video that was completed that he was the DJ, and he was like, wow, I now get to see a different perspective of how it all comes together.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me, like, well, you've seen it. You go ahead to you've seen it too, God. You go ahead and like shove a camera in my face, I just freeze.
Same.
Just blank. Catch me from an angle that I'm not looking at you,
You're
or,
good.
or that's why when I go ahead and put the GoPro behind me, I'm not looking at the GoPro. The
Yeah.
GoPro's looking at me.
Yeah.
You know.
So I have a challenge because I'm going to be doing Dave's headshot. So I'm
Okay.
going to be right in your face. So I guess I'll have to do
damn.
my job and get you comfortable, which I know I can, and we'll have that tequla shot before.
Just talk a lot of crap.
I can do that.
Yeah.
You know me.
Tons of crap. Just talk.
That's it. You know?
You know me.
You know, I'll tell you one thing. I've worked several events with Dave over the years, and one thing about him, he shows up early, and he always has his gear ready, well prepped, organized.
Very well, like
You know,
very well organized.
I
So
mean, it looks like
he's
we're going to a
got-
rock concert when he unloads all his stuff.
For real. No, he pulls out with these like ginormous boxes, like
I know.
rolling
Custom
him
cases.
out of. What do you have that is so cool? I think this is the coolest thing ever. What do you have that you pull these things out of?
You said we could one curse word.
Sure.
Like I call my my vehicle the sexy bitch.
What do you pull out of the sexy bitch? I did not know that. Now every time I see you, I'm gonna be like, "Where's that sexy bitch?" at?"
That was the first thing I did. Like the first thing that came out of my mouth when they handed the keys to
She
me.
is pretty sexy.
Yeah, she's.
So
That or like the surveillance FBI van, because I've drove it and everything
You
is
drove
tinted. Yeah.
It's
How did
dark.
I not
It's
get
dark.
to
You-
drive it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dark.
this is not cool.
It's like the front windshield is
Like,
tinted.
you
Nobody can
cannot-
see you coming rolling in.
No.
Dave has this amazing van that he keeps all his equipment in,
Yeah.
and you go in there and it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's organized.
Look at all
Everything's
this
on
stuff.
hooks.
It's all black, and he pulls out all these things, and it's like, what is that? I'm like, what is that?
Like, the reason why I went with a black van is because I'm like, okay.
'Cause she's a sexy bitch.
No, not even that. I just wanted to go ahead and make a statement. The entertainment has arrived, or that guy
That
arrived.
guy.
You know, everything's on wheels. I have my DJ booth is in a custom case that I had built down in Miami. My speakers are in a custom case. I just have that level of meticulousness, like, you know, to go ahead and try
I
to.
like it. And if it's something to make you stand out, it definitely caught my eye. So I was like, oh, what is this thing? And then I was jealous because I'm like, Kyle, we need a van like this.
Yeah.
We need to come out of a van like this with all our like people and all our equipment. So
Yeah.
baby steps, we'll get that one day.
It's got a
Yeah.
ramp and everything.
It's
Everything's on
amazing.
wheels. Like, I'm very like detailed.
Yeah. So maybe one day we'll get a little behind the scenes of like all his setups and everything, how he does
Yeah.
it in the van, so you guys actually can see what we're talking about.
Well, yeah, we've actually
You need to
started
see
working
visual. I'm
on
a
doing
very
some
visual
promotional
person,
videos for
so-
him as
Yeah.
well.
There you go. So once that's out, then I will put it on the YouTube channel and you know,
Yeah.
everywhere, so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about.
So, Dave, one of the things, how do you handle like different situations that might come unexpected?
Well, he just told me one last night, right?
You
Was it
have
last night?
Yeah. It was you just have to, like, I'm very spontaneous. Like, I have no filter when it comes to being spontaneous and stepping outside my comfort zone in order
Right.
to accomplish something. It's just accepting it for what it is and
Right.
just think outside the box.
Yeah.
Like, there's been instances where but I asked this question to a bride and to a groom. It's like, hey, I just found out your parents are divorced.
Yeah.
Which parent do you want to talk on the microphone? Which parent you don't want to talk on the microphone? Do they get along?
Yeah, these are questions I have to
And that
ask
was at the
too.
day of the wedding.
Yeah.
This wedding was in Orlando. And I told them, I was like, do these parents get along? How do they get along?
Yeah.
Like, I had to grill them right there because I asked them before, when you go ahead and I give them the planning app on the phone and everything, we capture all that information.
Yeah.
And, you know, the parents' names, and then 30 days before, I'll go ahead and create a PDF and hand it over to the planner or said venue coordinator or person in charge. And I asked them about that. They didn't answer it. But when I saw the toxicity between these two individuals, I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, he's not talking on the mic.
Yeah.
Because they just had a confrontation right now. I was like, how did you know? I was like, I'm reading the whole room.
We do read the
And I'm
room.
getting this vibe.
Yeah,
I
no.
definitely go
I
through that
remember
too.
that we had a client, and the groom's parents and the bride's parents, they're all divorced, and they all hated each other, and it was like, you know, just fighting over a 3-day event. They were like, oh, I paid for this. I want I get this and this and that. So I understand how you can say
It's hard sometimes like that, but as vendors that we are, I guess we train ourselves. When I first started, I don't think I realized things like that, but as you get into the business more, you start realizing things like that, and you'll see things before you, like, I already know. Like, I can just read the vibe, and I'm like, okay, and then I, like, will go ask the bride, like, is it okay? And then they'll give me the okay or the no, and then I know, okay.
I've actually forced a cheers in a toast. Mm-hmm. They were just going, and we worked this wedding together. The guy just kept rambling on. I think it was the best man. And they said that he really liked football, and they were making a lot of football comments.
Oh, yeah.
And we're making a lot of football comments and talking about the game and so-and-so getting traded and in college football and what have you. So I went ahead and I didn't have it. But I was like, this guy looks like he's about to ramble on.
For a while, yeah.
For a while.
And that'll kill a party, guys. Like, great speeches, but keep it down a little to a certain amount, right? Because if not, it just kills the whole thing.
To force the toast, I downloaded off of YouTube, just ripped it off of YouTube, Fox NFL Sunday, and then he just kept going, and I just started raising it little by little, little by little, little by little, little by little, and then he looks at me like I'm interrupting him, and I just do this. You done?
Yeah, like I am interrupting you. Time to go, and you give him the little applause. You did that. Get off.
No, but
I had to try that.
No, you have to.
You have to try these little buttons.
Now you give her little colored buttons to push.
I love my buttons. I don't know if they can see my buttons, but there's buttons here, and I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like a DJ right now.
Yeah. So, have you had when giving speeches? You had somebody just slam a mic down. We've seen that happen.
Yeah, that happened to me, and it was during the pandemic, and I signed a non-disclosure agreement, and I did get paid for that wedding. They all flew from New York to the Islander.
Right.
They flew from Long Island. He let it go, but the thing was, his personality was so cool, and I was like, you know what, man, it's the pandemic. South Florida's open, so throw the microphone. Go ahead, let it out. The great thing is that I went on. I contacted Sweetwater, and I told them, hey, I need the grills. And hey, can you send me 2 brand new grills, and I'm just tax write-off, call it the day. But I do not want anybody throwing my microphone.
Yeah, no, we've seen some where they just like football spike it, and I'm like, and then DJ's like, I'm glad I brought 2, but that was a $1,200 mic.
Yeah,
like, wow.
Our toys are expensive.
They are. Speaking of things that you have, toys, tell us a little bit about like what is in that van that you can offer your brides and grooms for their wedding day.
I feel that as a DJ, as an entertainment company, I'm self-sufficient. I can go ahead and do it all. Everything's on wheels. Everything's, minimalistic. Of course, I have the white DJ booth with subs and tops. Within my SKB case, I can go ahead and use that for ceremonies and receptions.
Okay.
So when you see me with an iPad at a ceremony,
that's cool. I just saw you do that on the last wedding we worked together, and you're like standing by the tent thing, and you're like controlling everything.
Yeah, I just want to. What I like, first, as far as for ceremonies, like what I like to do is a lapel microphone. I only use a handheld microphone if I really have to, because you as a videographer and a photographer, they just look hideous.
Yeah.
So it's if we want, we could go ahead and even reenact this for your viewers. So, Yolanda, I want you to go ahead and just shift over, right? Okay. And you, Kyle, just shift over.
Oh boy.
Okay. And then you guys are talking, and this thing is right here.
Yeah, it's not cute.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
So
especially if they're shorter, because it blocks.
Then you can't see. But I agree.
Yeah. So I wouldn't put a microphone on the bride, a lapel on the bride, because she's going to look stunning in white.
Yeah.
I can go ahead and put a lapel on your jacket and put a lapel on the officiant and be able to go ahead and, mix and match and carry over, your voice from 2 microphones. So that's one thing. I have my uplighting, I have my movers, I have sparklers, dancing on the clouds, and all those things.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah, the dry ice.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a big thing. You just sent me a picture the other day where you showed the whole room was completely filled, from the bottom to the top, and so it looked like they were just floating on clouds.
Yeah.
So it was, and he said he used like 30
pounds of pellets.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it nuked it. It just went straight through.
Right. I see some DJs that bring out it, and it's like,
it's a little bit. I literally
like,
just
where's
told him
that at? And Dave
I couldn't
is
get my
literally
picture.
is like,
I'm waiting
wow.
for the cloud, I guess, to come through. And I'm like, when is it coming? And like the song ended, I'm like still waiting. I'm like, it was like a little cloud. So guys, make sure that your DJ or whoever you hire has the right stuff, because I couldn't get my shot. And I was like sitting there waiting, and it was just like a little cloud. And I'm like, oh, I guess that's it. Then you see Dave's that he just showed me from his wedding yesterday, and it's like the whole thing is cloud. It's like legit covered through the whole thing.
Exactly. So I was like, wow, that's nice. It makes it look great in film and video or photos as well.
One of the things I like to do is like I own all my equipment. I am just like that. I was just, as far as my sparklers, I have 4 sparkler fountains. I own all my equipment. Why? Is because when they contact me or ask me at the last minute, hey, Dave, we want to go ahead and add XYZ, it comes out of the sexy bitch.
He's got it. He's got it.
It comes out.
He's got it.
Up lighting, and all that. You just tell me. I can go ahead and have that conversation 30 days before, and the couple will be like, "Hey, we don't like the way this room looks. Can you go ahead and uplight this for me?" Yeah, just sell me right now, and here I come with 24 lights.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No. For sure. I've seen your setup. It's amazing.
Very good.
Yeah.
So anything else that you want to tell us about your business that you want to put out there, or any advice for the brides and grooms that, when they're picking their DJs, like the do's and don'ts, anything like that you want to say?
One of the things that I do profess is just to be, find somebody that you like, do your research, look at the reviews, look at their setups. When you have that initial conversation with them, do you vibe with them?
Vibe is very important. You definitely have to vibe. It's your wedding day, and you should vibe with your vendors. Personality is huge, and I hear that all the time where they're like, "Oh, I wish I had Yolanda as my photographer." They were married before and used somebody else. She has a great personality. Dave has a great personality.
One of the things I wanted to do too, as far as like when I built up my social media, like the premise of it was, okay, I do have, XYZ equipment. It does look elegant and what have you, but that's not just everything. No. What I wanted people to see was myself. I wanted you to, through what I'm doing, I want you to see me. So kind of have it towards where you have the video testimonials on Instagram. You have the what you call it, the reviews on Wedding Wire, The Knot, and Google. Yeah. And try to make it more towards like you see me. Like anybody could have DJ furniture, anybody could have a mixing surface, but you really have to get down to the person. Yeah. And see if you connect with that person. And of course, and if that person is ready to go ahead and read that crowd and make sure to rock your party.
I have been at, again, not putting anybody names out there or anything, but actually I don't even know who it was, to be honest, but they killed a party. This DJ just killed the party, and it was sad because I'm like, it's your reception and you want to have fun. You want your guests to have a good time. And it was just like constant quiet. Like what? Yeah. He was not keeping it going. He was not talking. It just like quiet, and I felt awkward. And I'm the photographer. I'm sitting there like, okay, like what is he doing? Like what? So do your research. Make sure that they know what they're doing and that it just flows.
An individual that's ready to push the envelope at any given time musically. Yeah. That wants to make sure that parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends of all ages are converging on that dance floor for the couple.
Agree.
And making sure that you're playing for the couple. I don't go over there playing for me. Yeah. We go out and play for the couple, and then we sprinkle something
for
in.
the couples, and then for me as
of course, because you guys are capturing content, so we got to go ahead and make your content valid.
Yes.
And it helps too. Like if it's a packed dance floor, it makes the film look a lot better on video side, and even the photography side. It looks great.
Yeah, we love that. Like when it's packed, and I want to get those fun shots of them just being going crazy on there. Like we had a wedding, we had left though, unfortunately, and the bride ended up doing a surf with like a big, how do you call that? Like they
crowd surfed her?
Wow. Her. And I had left already, unfortunately, didn't catch that, but I caught so many other moments that this party was just insanely vibing. So definitely important to get them out there dancing. Yeah,
and also like your vendors. There's individuals that, let's say for example, brand new vendor, never worked with them. It's a collective. Yeah. You got to go ahead and also like kind of separate yourself and separate all the nonsense and what have you to go ahead and make sure, because it's not our day, it's actually their day.
It is their day.
And then it turns into her day.
Yeah.
Right.
Because she's the one that's looking stunning in white. Exactly. He's the one that's looking dapper.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we make them feel comfortable. Sometimes I'll do an icebreaker, like you've guys seen it, where the groom is ridiculously nervous, and I just go ahead and just look at him. I was like, let's just give him a moment, so everybody can celebrate him.
Yeah.
So I believe in that too.
I've seen you do that. What I was going to ask you now is, have you ever had something like just gone wrong and you just had to like quickly fix it? Like something like I've told what has gone wrong in photography that I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then quickly, boom, figured it out.
Most recent one was a cable.
A cable.
Cable.
And he's got a lot of cables.
A cable.
A lot of cables.
And people see me going back and forth. And at one point, so the sound didn't go away because my MacGyver just set in where I still had one speaker going and then the other speaker was down, but I went ahead and had the opposite subwoofer working. So I'm just over here just checking things, just going, and I'm still mixing, I'm still doing my thing, still on the microphone, still carrying on.
Yeah.
And then the videographer was like, what are you doing? I was like, I got a cable that's wrong and I'm assessing that now. He was like, you have the wedding going on, you're doing your thing, and then you're behind the scenes like going technical. I was like, yeah, because that subwoofer needs to turn on. Yeah. It was an XLR that just failed. XLRs always go bad. So I went ahead, grabbed an XLR that was in my bag, plugged it. Yeah. Subs
and that's
tops
why we
working
carry multiple
Gosh.
and stuff, because you never know, something might go wrong.
Yeah, always having, which we all talked
I remember
about
whenever
that.
like you was like, and this is one thing great about Dave is a code sparkler went just out and the bride's getting ready to come out. He just runs over and grabs another one, puts it up and hits a button and he's back up. And it's just that quick.
Yeah.
And that's what,
because he has all his stuff.
yeah,
and
he's
backups.
took the time and invested in your special day. So and that's like how we all are, it's your special moment. So because at the end of the day they don't want to hear excuses.
Mm-hmm. No, they don't.
And like, oh, I'm sorry we couldn't do this because this failed. And no, you just we get through it.
Yeah,
there was
definitely.
one time, like what you call it, antenna frequencies. Now South Florida's getting very congested, and of course down in the Keys sometimes you'll have just one boat that's not, or just one yacht or whatever that's not in their proper frequency, but they use legacy stuff, and the legacy stuff, of course, through time, megahertz or whatever, and it just interferes. Had this one wedding, I ran up and gave the microphone to the officiant. I was like, listen, there's something going on. I don't know if it's line of sight. I don't know what it is, but the lapels are not working.
Right.
Take this mic. He puts the microphone right here in his pocket and it's covered and the whole ceremony's muffled. One of the things that I always had and never took into consideration was your shark fin antennas. I put those things up. Mm-hmm. Nobody interferes. Nobody taps into the frequency. So it's like, with me, it's like paying attention just to the finite details that nobody would ever see.
Yeah.
And when you go through those experiences, fix them.
Yeah.
Most definitely, for sure.
Most definitely. So I've known, how long have we worked together? I can't even remember.
It's been like, I would say within the span of like 10, 12 years.
Yeah, we've been working together for a while. We kind of stopped for a while. Like it almost like there was like an intermission, not because we just, I started, nothing bad. It just, but then we met up again and started working again, and we've been doing a lot in the Keys, which is my next question. Is like, where do you cover? Like, or you go pretty much anywhere?
I go pretty much everywhere.
Yeah,
pretty much everywhere. Like I'll do. I remember during the pandemic, it was crazy. I went from, I think it was the Islander to some gun ranch all the way out in 27, like past West Palm Beach, like out
way
there.
Deep in there, yeah.
Way deep. So it's like different, it felt like I was in a completely different time zone pretty much. Two totally different extremes. I'll go from, the Keys, stay in the Keys and then go over to Fort Myers, Fort Myers, Naples area. And then the following day, show up.
So he's like us,
Yeah,
pretty much everywhere. Like wherever
travel,
there's a wedding,
wherever there's a wedding,
what we
go.
do, and there's no like limits. I know some DJs or some photographers just like to stay in some local areas, but we travel. He travels, so it's good to know, so that everybody knows out there that you are willing to do that.
Willing to do that, and I've gone. I've done many times to Atlanta, many times to to Savannah. Next thing I want to do, I did get offered to do a wedding in Tennessee.
That'll be cool.
So
Yeah.
definitely want to go ahead and do that. And
That
yes,
would be
and what I
cool,
would do is
yeah.
just
Yeah.
drive. You know.
I know we got coming up. We're going to be in Savannah, and then we're going to Tennessee later this year. So it's going to be good because to see the different sceneries and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always nice as a photographer anyways for myself. You know, we do the same stuff all the time, same venues, which is great. Love working there. But when you throw me in something new,
Yeah.
a new venue or a new setting, like my mind just opens up to like so much
It's
more
like a
that-
child with a new toy.
It is, yes. And then it's like more, I don't know, I just get more like into it. Like I'm like, okay, some challenge. I guess
Yeah.
it's a challenge because I've never worked there. I don't know the lighting, so it like becomes like okay, I'm gonna figure this out and I'm gonna bang this out. And normally I do pretty
Yeah,
good.
I mean, and you just have to have like we all have that level of confidence, you know.
Yes.
I just accomplished something.
I know
talking
for us, it's like when we see the timeline and we see like somebody that we really work with or like yourself,
Yeah.
that we're like, we already know the ceremony stuff is going to be great. The reception stuff is going to be great. So that's less stress.
Yeah, I love
of
working.
trying to figure
I mean,
that out.
I love working with new vendors. Don't get me wrong, but it is nice when you work with somebody multiple times and you just already know what they're gonna do, how they're gonna do it, and same vice versa. I'm sure, like with me, you know, I'm pretty chill. I'm not gonna give you
Yeah.
any issues. Like we're good.
No,
So,
it's just, you know, when you work with a collective or you're used to working or you just, it's as simple. If you have not worked with a specific individual, just say hi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just say hi, become approachable. You know, if you've never worked with a photographer or videographer, just be nice to them.
I always make it a point to say hello. When I get there, sometimes, you know, I'm setting up or whatever. I've been working with the bride in the room, getting ready, all those stuff. And then my next thing would be going into the reception. And that's when I normally see the DJ. Sometimes I'm busy and I'm just setting up. But once I'm done, I always go up to him or her and say hello. And, you know, let me know, you know, if anything's going on, vice versa, and just communicate. It's very important.
At the
Yeah,
end of the day, it's
communication's
about
always good.
That's why I
for
tell
sure.
my brides all the time because they're like worried about like, oh, you know, you're gonna know when the cake cutting's, when this and that, and I'm like, don't worry. I said I always go to the DJ and I let him know like, don't do anything without me. If I haven't worked with them, like with Dave, I don't have to do that because he knows. Plus, he knows I'll kill him if he does anything that, you know, doesn't tell me, right?
No.
I would never kill
No,
him.
like as a DJ myself, a lot of DJs want to go ahead, or a lot of entertainment companies want to have a timeline.
Yeah.
I hate having a timeline because if I create this timeline and it's broken, I would get upset.
Yeah.
So what I just do is, of course, a photographer and videographer, when it comes to their special day, they know what time sunset. All I do is capture my information, for my formalities, and make sure I have that down packed.
Yep.
And then with the planner, of course, will send me her timeline.
Of course.
You know, timeline, layout, and everything. And what I like to do is just be patient and wait. Make sure that the photo and video team, make sure that catering's on point, make sure that all these other things that are happening, or, you know, like I said, believe in the word
Yeah,
as a
like I
collective.
said, it's like kind of like a team thing because the last wedding we did together, like they were having a great time, and they were dancing and everything. And I know we were getting ready to leave, and I was just like, "Hey, let's do the cake.
Yeah.
Let's go do the cake." And so pulled them aside, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys ready to do the cake?" We did the cake, and everything was great. So I
Yeah.
communicated with him as well as the couple just to make sure that was captured before we left.
They
because that's
raged so
important.
hard that I forgot about the bouquet toss.
Same.
And at the end of the night, I'm like, you know, about to play the last song. I'm like, bride?
They were having a blast.
Yeah, they had a blast. I was
Like a
"Bri-
blast. If I didn't have to, like, what if we had something the next day or whatever,
Yeah.
I probably would have stayed and partied too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is
it was,
humbling.
it was fun.
Like one of
Unless you're deep down in the Keys or somewhere, and
I-
you're like, I got
I
4
think I
hours
had
to
another
drive.
wedding the next day, so
Okay,
I had
yeah.
to come back. But I
Yeah.
literally would have stayed and partied myself, and they were such a fun couple. And then I had another couple that was there that I did their wedding, so I knew other people there. So I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
Okay.
I heard about that.
Yeah, Kate and Dan.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
yeah.
Kate and Dan.
It was good to see them.
Yeah.
And it was like, and that's how we got recommendations, is that we did their wedding, and then
Yeah.
next thing you know, they're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
my friend's getting married. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and give you the person I know and trust.
Yep.
Bride just said, hey, bouquet toss
Yeah.
with a drink in her hand. No.
Having too much fun.
Too much fun.
Yeah,
Not cutting this
exactly.
party down.
Another
And
thing too is respecting the venues too.
Oh, gosh,
respecting
yeah.
the venue staff. You know,
Yeah.
that's paramount. You know, that's the way we all get referred, and we become preferred vendors at
Yeah, that's
venues.
what the other thing I was going to ask
And
you. Like, how
planners,
do
too.
you get your referrals mostly? Like,
I've
do you
worked-
like
Yeah, I worked so much through South Florida, where one of the things I've always said, it was like, Dave, you got to always walk in through the front door. Be nice, be respectful. If they come up with condescendence, just smile, and just abide by that, because I'm not there for me. And then, of course, towards the end of the night, said person that was mean comes up to and just genuinely, hey, I'm sorry. You dealt with me. You were part of this team, and you were very approachable.
Yeah, and a lot of times is that venue, the people, they're all stressed because they probably done 3 or 4 weddings that week, or whatever, and sometimes they're just tired and they're like,
And
well, good thing that you didn't take that first meeting that he thought was Yolanda Hill, but was not Yolanda Hill, into anything, because apparently whoever it was, which was one of my shooters, not anybody on my team right now. This was a long time ago. I guess was not very nice. to you.
she wasn't, but I was like, damn, she's mean.
It wasn't me though.
And then I think I was with Russ.
Okay.
Russ Ginsburg when I met you, or I think we were at a meetup or something like that. Oh, this is Yolanda Hill. She was like, hi, I'm Yolanda. I was like,
That's not Yolanda.
That octave right there, I remember
Like,
perfectly.
no, that wasn't her.
No, it wasn't her.
that
was her.
Yeah.
But
this is the real Yolanda, and yes, I always say hello. So definitely, I'm glad that
and always remind the planners that we're there for them.
Yes.
I look at it like this: a planner comes up to me, it's your show. I'm an attribute. You run the show. We'll play it close. We'll play it tight, and make sure that we have.
Speaking of planners, I give them so much prop. They have so much to do, which we will have planners coming in here soon, and they'll be telling us a little bit about what they do and how and all that stuff. But I watch them. Like I said, I watch all my vendors, and the things that they have to deal with and do. It's just like, whew.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I have my own things to worry about and lighting and all this other stuff, but your planners, give them some massive props because they handle a lot.
Yeah, we go through a lot. This is it's tolling, it's nerve-wracking. Like I said, you guys accomplished a feat putting me in front of a camera. It's just amazing. I think we can go ahead and do more stuff now. I think that level of confidence is just.
See, I'm here to just bring out
that's all it's about.
Yes,
so
get you out of that comfort zone. You know why I brought you in here? So that when I get you in front of my camera, you're ready for me. You're done. See? He's ready. Should I go get it right now?
Yeah, that's it.
It's like a complete transformation from the first second to now.
Yeah, exactly. It just takes a little bit of time, and then everything flows good. So,
well, Dave, I really enjoyed having you here. Is there anything else that you want to tell us before we start saying our goodbyes? And
what is this? Hold on. Behind the Lens with Yolanda. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Behind the Lens with Yolanda Hill. I am Dave Trakz. You can go ahead and find me as the @ DJ Dave Trakz on Instagram, Dave Trakz Entertainment on Wedding Wire, Google, and The Knot. And weddings are supposed to be fun. Party with Dave Trakz.
That's right. Party with Dave Trakz. And I enjoyed our time together. And I will see you guys at the next episode. Have a great day.